Let's dive right in. Today's explainer is all about a defining moment in web architecture, HTTP/1.0. We're going deep into the network stack to uncover why the early web loaded so painfully slowly and how HTTP fundamentally shaped the internet by splitting its duties with TCP. To really appreciate this, we have to start with the core problem. Before HTTP/1.0, we had HTTP/0.9, which was incredibly rigid. I mean, it was strictly limited to pulling plain text documents. No status codes, no error handling, zero metadata. Sure, it proved the World Wide Web was computationally possible, but a text-only web was obviously a massive bottleneck for anyone trying to build a genuinely interactive platform. So the leap to HTTP/1.0 was an absolute game changer. It essentially transformed the web overnight, from a basic document retriever into a highly capable application layer protocol. Suddenly, we moved from this dull, text-only world into an ecosystem rich with metadata and multiple formats. This is the exact transition that paved the way for the highly visual, dynamic internet we use every single day. How did they pull that off? Well, HTTP/1.0 achieved this by stepping up as the manager at the application layer, and its secret weapon for this management was the introduction of headers. Think of headers as the crucial metadata exchanged between the client and the server, because without them, a server had absolutely no idea what browser you were using, what language you wanted, or if you even supported data compression. Headers made HTTP extensible without having to rewrite the core protocol. And that brings us to a massive breakthrough: MIME types. By introducing multi-purpose internet mail extensions, which, fun fact, was a concept borrowed straight from early email protocols, browsers could finally understand exactly what kind of file they were receiving. Instead of just blindly assuming everything was HTML, your browser now knew instantly if it needed to render a web page, display a graphic, or trigger a binary download. By mapping resources to specific, standardized labels, like text.html for websites or image.jpg for photos, HTTP/1.0 could finally support rich media. It essentially handed the browser an instruction manual for every single asset. But creating this complex application layer meant the protocol's designers had to make some drastic structural choices about memory and interaction. One of those really drastic choices is that HTTP/1.0 is entirely stateless. The server simply does not remember previous requests. It's kind of ironic when you think about it. The protocol running our entire modern personalized internet literally forgets who you are every millisecond. You ask a server for a file and then immediately ask for another one, and the server treats you like a total stranger making a brand new request. Any user state, like a shopping cart, had to be handled entirely externally. Which leads us to a pretty stark reality regarding how the network stack was split. HTTP provides absolutely zero reliable delivery guarantees. None. No flow control, no packet ordering, no retransmission. It is incredibly smart about what it's asking for, the metadata, the headers, the MIME types, but it is completely clueless about how to physically move those bytes from point A to point B without losing them. So instead of managing data transfer itself, HTTP delegated all of those messy transport mechanics to the courier of our network stack, TCP, the Transmission Control Protocol. Because HTTP/1.0 is essentially helpless at ensuring your data actually survives a trip across a noisy, unpredictable network, it relies 100% on TCP for the actual physical communication layer. And TCP takes on all the heavy lifting. It ensures every single packet arrives intact, error-free, and in the exact right order. Drop a packet in transit, TCP handles the retransmission automatically. Network getting congested, TCP throttles things to handle congestion control. Delegating all of this allowed the engineers designing HTTP to keep it incredibly clean and simple, dumping the messy physics of networking entirely onto TCP. But, as you might guess, that reliability doesn't just happen instantly. Before a single HTTP request can even be sent, TCP acts like a strict bouncer, enforcing a three-step lock and key mechanism known as the three-way handshake. The client sends a synchronized packet, the server synchronizes and acknowledges, and finally, the client acknowledges back. Only after that highly specific sequence completes can the actual web traffic begin. I really want to emphasize this point. This is a mandatory prerequisite. The application layer, our buddy HTTP, must sit there and patiently wait for TCP to clear the path and establish that connection. You can't just shout an HTTP request out into the digital void. You have to dial the number, wait for the ring, wait for the server to pick up, and exchange greetings first. Once that lock is turned, boom, we have success. We finally see the reliable transfer of our web resources over the established connection. HTTP fires off its headers and requests, and TCP ensures the server's response makes it safely back to your browser, exactly as intended. Honestly, it sounds like a perfect, elegant system, right? Well, not quite. Because here is the massive trade-off that truly defined this era of the web. HTTP/1.0 limits you to exactly one resource per TCP connection. Once the server sends that single response back to your browser, it immediately hangs up. It completely terminates the TCP connection. Zero connection reuse. If you want another file, you have to start the entire handshake process all over again. Let's put that into perspective. Imagine a super basic web page. We're talking just one HTML file, one style sheet, and 2 images. To load that, your browser has to perform 4 independent, time-consuming TCP handshakes. Dial the server, get the HTML, hang up. Dial again, get the CSS, hang up. Dial for the first image, hang up. The inefficiency just compounds instantly. And the latency cost of this design choice is just brutal. As you can see, the time spent merely setting up the TCP handshake and then tearing the connection down afterward often takes significantly longer than the server processing and the actual data transfer combined. The administrative overhead effectively dwarfs the real work of loading your web page. Plus, it's not just a massive waste of time, it's a huge drain on network resources. Opening and closing these connections repeatedly chews through precious kernel resources and memory allocations. Even worse, TCP uses a congestion window to gauge network speed. It's like a car accelerating from a stop sign. Because HTTP/1.0 opens a brand new connection every time, that car is forced to stop and restart at 0 miles per hour for every single file. The network literally never gets up to cruising speed. Which brings us to the ultimate breaking point. What worked flawlessly for the simple web of the past, where a page was maybe some text and a tiny image, becomes an absolute traffic jam today. A modern web page easily demands 100 to 300 concurrent assets. Forcing a browser to do 300 separate TCP handshakes just to load a news article would make the modern web practically unusable. So, looking back, this deliberate division of labor was a massive double-edged sword. On one hand, it kept HTTP brilliantly simple, highly extensible, and human-readable, which empowered engineers to rapidly build out the modern web. But by leaning completely on fresh TCP connections for every single resource, they hard-coded a massive latency bottleneck straight into the foundation of early web architecture. Understanding this specific flaw in HTTP/1.0 is absolutely vital to understanding why our modern web stack exists. Which leaves us with a provocative question to wrap up this explainer. Knowing that setting up and tearing down TCP connections was actively killing performance, how did later protocols like HTTP/1.1 and HTTP/3 finally solve this massive connection nightmare? Well, that's a brilliant evolution for another time, but I hope this gives you a deep appreciation for the complex mechanics firing off under the hood every single time you load a page.